welcome to our first webinar today. Okay, we're gonna have a couple of webinars in the next days and the next week. It's a pleasure to greet you with this kind of presentation we are going to do, and thank you again for joining us. Okay, I hope you're all fine and safe at home. This is the most important. Hope that your families as well are in a good health. We know we are facing a difficult situation, okay, it's right. But I think that the most important is to keep our mind positive and all will be good. I'm sure that we will get stronger and soon this COVID-19 situation will be just, bad memories, okay? We will think about it in the future like, oh, okay, it was something quite bad. We know it's going to be something that takes time to come back to the normality, but it will happen, okay? Better days are coming, so the important is to keep positive, okay? So yeah, let's start with the presentation. Just to introduce myself quickly. So I'm Jeremy, for the one that knows me already. I'm a French citizen, okay? I live in Ecuador since 2008. I live here with my wife, with my 3-year-old son. We are perfect at home here, totally safe as well. I've been working for Gulliver Expeditions since 2010, okay? So it's now 10 years of experience that I have in tourism, okay? And so far, it's been a great experience to work on the DMC, such as Gulliver Expeditions. I learned a lot about Ecuador, about tourism, of course, but also about myself, okay? I learned about how to transmit to the travelers the passion about Ecuador, about all the beauties that the country has, you know? And also something I learned a lot is how to handle situations. As you know, tourism is something that always bring situation, good, bad sometimes, and we learn how to handle it in the best way. And one of the most important things I learned is basically that all the situations has a solution. And again, I think that this coronavirus situation definitely has a solution. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of how we handle it, but it will we will pass it through all together. So that's something really important. Let's go now about the objective of this webinar. Okay, so what is the objective of this today? The first thing is to entertain you. Okay, we think about you and we wanted to offer you, to greet you with this little presentation, for you to have something to learn. It's a kind of a distraction on your daily routine that you have. I guess that everyone are now home as we are on teleworking. And yeah, if I can, during those 30 minutes, give you kind of entertainment. So this is one of the first objectives I have, okay, to make your day a little bit happier, a little bit different, okay? So that's the first point. The second point is about learning Ecuador in a different way. Ecuador is a small country, okay, with a lot of things to do and to see. But it's important, I think, to learn how to sell it in a different way and what we can offer, something that's going to be different, okay? We will see it afterwards. Another point is also to renew your touristic offer. We usually know Ecuador for the typical places to visit, okay? The most famous ones that everyone is offering, but we sometimes forget that Ecuador has more than only volcanoes and the Amazon and the Galapagos, okay? There are hidden treasures that we can get to know. And this is what I want to show you today, okay? How to improve your offer with something different, something that will impress your client, that will really, give him a wow impression, okay? And finally, the last point is also to get you prepared for when the tourism will be reactivated, okay? I think that all the time we have now, that's, I would say, kind of a free time, can be used to learn more and more to get prepared, because when tourism will be reactivated, I think that the most important is to be prepared to anticipate. Okay. I wanted to remind you about some facts that are important in Ecuador for the person that maybe doesn't know that much the country. First of all, it's important to know that Ecuador is known as the fourth worst country. Okay, um, Ecuador is kind of a little country again. Okay, it's not a big country as we can have like Peru or Colombia or Brazil, but we have a huge diversity on this little territory. We have a lot of things to see. So we have four regions that we call the four worlds, that are the Galapagos, the Pacific coast, the Andean Sierra, and the Amazon. Okay, those four regions has their own ecosystem, own animal species, fauna, flora. So this is something really interesting. Okay, and this is actually one big argue uh, to sell to your clients, to sell the destination. Okay. Um, what makes it special is that you have those four words in a little country, so you can visit Ecuador, you can get to know those four words in kind of a reduced time. Okay, to get to know Ecuador in the four regions, you can do it easily in 2 weeks, in 14, 15, 16 days maximum. You really can have an overview of the country, passing on this on those four regions and discover it. Of course, if you want to get to know Ecuador completely, to pass to all the cities and get to know every part, you will need a bit more of time, maybe talking about over 20 days, maybe a month, of course. But to have a really nice overview of the country in only 14 days, 15 days, it's possible. So this is something also important, that people doesn't need to have that much time to come to Ecuador and to have a really nice impression. Regarding the currency, so here we manage the US dollar. Okay, that's our official currency here. Regarding transportation, it's important to know that we don't have trains. Sorry, we don't have trains. We only have trains for little touristic activities, but not for transportation. Okay, train is not used for transportation. So we use the flights, and as well the transportation by bus. Okay, the plane is mostly used when we're talking about tourism to reach the continent, to the Galapagos, because it's the only way to reach Galapagos is by plane. Okay, we then have some current flights in the continent to reach usually between the Sierra, Quito, to the Amazon. Okay, this is another frequent line used, or to the coast. The other way to travel would be definitely by bus. Okay, it's a really common way of travel. So public bus for the travelers that like the adventure, or of course private touristic buses that we can find. To give you an idea, the time of transportation from the Quito to the Amazon or to the coast would be an average of 6 to 7 hours drive. Okay. And to reach the north of the Sierra, like the area of Quito, to the south, maybe like Cuenca, we're talking about another 8 hours. So basically, you can reach the most interesting places, the further places by bus in about 6 to 7 hours buses. Okay, so that's still reasonable. Regarding visa, Ecuador doesn't ask for a visa. Only for a couple of countries, but for most of the countries, you don't need a visa to enter. Okay, travelers can arrive to Ecuador, and with the passport, they will get a 19 days free transit in country. Okay, so that's way enough. It's a 3 months transit, so enough to visit the country. Okay. Regarding electricity, important to know that we are using plugs on the American style. That's something important, but we can find easily adapters here. And finally, another important point is about the weather. We basically in Ecuador have the same climate, almost the same climate the whole year. Okay, just to be clear about that. We don't have a hot summer, then a cold winter. We don't have a rainy season for months and months. So no, we have the same climate the whole day. We can identify kind of a dry season and a rainy season, mostly in the Amazon, a bit on the coast. But anyway, it's important for you to know and to remember the most important, that you can visit Ecuador all year long. Okay, it's not necessary to choose specific months. If a traveler comes to Ecuador, it will definitely can do everything any months of the year. Okay, we usually identify in the Sierra March, April, May as rainy months. But anyway, even on those months, we can do climbing. You can visit also the Galapagos. You can go to the Amazon. This is not a problem. Okay, so that's important to know, and it's also another advantage that we can sell Ecuador all year long. Okay, so the last slide before to get to the 7 experiences I wanted to show you today is why is experience tourism so important. Okay, so the main fact is that, as you know, the competition is always getting bigger and bigger. There are always more and more people and enterprises that are coming into the tourism industry, and this means more competition. Okay, so we think that, of course, one important fact for the competition would be the price. Okay, we need to always be competitive on price. That's something obvious. But we think also that it's important to try to be different, not to make the difference on price, but also on the product. Okay, as you know, a traveler, when he wants to go to country, would inquire a couple of agencies. Okay, not only one. So he will get a couple of itineraries of programs that can be different, but usually most of the time he will get kind of a similar itinerary based on what he's looking for. Okay, and the itineraries would be offering usually the most common things in the country, but at better price. So a client can, of course, choose the agency will go with based on the price. But we think that it's important in this moment to try to compete on something different. Okay, you might be a little bit more expensive or not, but you might be a bit more expensive than competition. But if you offer on your program something that makes the difference, something that the other ones are not offering, this would definitely help you. We think that a lot of clients are also looking to live, in once in a life moments when they're traveling, when they're organizing a trip for 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the other side of the world. They really want to enjoy it fully. They really want to arrive on the country and to get something special. Okay, maybe something also that would be different from what all the people do. So this is what we should argue to our client, to say, okay, I may be a little bit more expensive, but look what I'm offering to you. I'm offering to you human experiences, things you will really keep with you on your heart, on your mind, and you will bring back home. Okay, it can be a knowledge. We will see it afterwards with, for example, a cooking class. It can be a knowledge that you will take with you. You can bring and show it to your friends, to your families. So this is something more important. We think that only going to a place to take a picture, okay, you have the picture, it's nice, you can show it to your friends. No, this is something that they will keep with them in their heart. And we think that's something also really important for the travelers. And another point is also to be part of a responsible tourism. Okay, we always try to offer services that work with little enterprises or communities that are trying to live from the tourism activity here in Ecuador. So let's start now with the first experience. Okay, the first experience would be about yoga. Okay, as you know, yoga is actually something a bit more trendy nowadays. It's an amazing activity for the one that maybe doesn't know about it. It's something really nice. It's an activity that's really trendy because first, it's an activity, it's a sport actually that doesn't need equipment. Okay, it's something that can be done almost everywhere. And also, it's an activity that helps to release the stress and also doesn't look for any performance. It's only something between you and you, basically. So in a lifestyle, today there is a lot of stress. People are stressed because of work and so on. So yoga is a perfect activity, and an activity that's more trendy because of that. People are looking like their intern piece, So Uh, and we have seen also that more and more people are practicing this activity on social media. You can see more and more uh, articles or videos about yoga, about what makes yoga good for you. So we thought that it would be really nice to offer this activity during a trip for your travelers. Okay, why uh, can't we combine a traveler that is discovering a country, goes for a hike or just a cultural trip, but in the end of the day, or starting the day really early in the morning, to treat himself, to treat his body and his mind in a good way, to connect with the nature. We offer the sessions mostly in Osteria Papagayo, that is in the Avenue of the Volcanoes, in the middle of the volcanoes. So it's a perfect place to realize this activity. So I think this is a plus that you can offer to your client, to say, okay, you will enjoy the country, you will discover it, but also give a time for your body, for you, for your mind. Okay, so that's something really important. The yoga classes lessons are elaborated by more than 200 hours certified experienced teacher. Okay, so that's important. Something that's also really important about yoga is that there is no restriction. We can join a group and do a yoga session for people that have already experience and people that do not have experience. Um, the same for the ages. No need to be young. Old people can also do it. Kids can do this. So it's something that's also a way to unify people together. So that's something also really interesting on this side. Um, Finally, where can we offer those classes? We can offer it mostly in Papagayo. That's the idea, to be in the nature again. But we also can offer it in Quito. Okay, in case that people wants to join one, we can arrange something in Quito as well. The second experience I wanted to talk about today would be cooking class. Why cooking class? Also, as per yoga, cooking is something also really trendy. First of all, the gastronomy of a country is something that makes it special. Okay, all over the world, a lot of countries has their own gastronomy, and it's something that makes them special. So Ecuador is not an exception. Ecuador has a huge variety of dishes and plates from the different regions. So that's something really important to know. Unfortunately, when we do a normal trip, we sometimes do not know enough about gastronomy. So this activity will permit to uh, get into more deep into the gastronomy and the culture of Ecuador. Okay, but also gastronomy is something, and cooking class is something trendy, because people also like now more to cook themselves, again, with all the social media, the access to videos like on YouTube, Instagram, things like that. It's way easy now to catch a recipe and to do something at home. So people, I think now, and actually more and more right now in quarantine, like um, to get skills on cooking. So uh, I think cooking is something really important to offer in the country. It's the same. It's an activity that can be done after a day of a trip, for a dinner, uh, or it can be done, during the day for a half day activity, because we don't want to offer only the fact to cook, but also to go to get the product, on the market, or in this case, if it's in Papagayo, to go and to harvest the goods, the vegetables, to maybe go and cook, to milk the cows. So this is something really special. Then to bring back everything in the kitchen, and with the chef to cook the dish. Uh, it's something really nice, because this is a knowledge that the travelers will bring back home. Okay, this is actually something they can take with them, go back home, and to learn their friends and family. Not only, again, as I mentioned before, pictures. Oh, look, it's nice where I've been, the volcanoes. Okay, it's nice. But when you invite them, your friends or family, and you say, look, I've been on the trip, and look what I learned. I learned a recipe, and to prepare it and to make them test this. This is, I think, a unique sensation and something really nice. So cooking class is something also really interesting to offer in this case. The cooking class can be done also, so again, in Papagayo, that we also have the place to do it, and we have a really experienced chef to do it, or as well in Quito. Okay, we can offer it in different places of Ecuador as well, but these are the two main places that we usually would offer the service. The third point would be about interactive horse sessions. This is really important, in this case, the word interactive, okay? As you know, maybe in Ecuador, we offer already horse rides. We have plenty of spaces and routes that people can follow with a horse. Okay, you can go for 2, 3, 4 hours, or maybe 2 or 3, 4 days. Even though we have routes going next to the Ilinisas volcano, the Cotopaxi volcano. So this is amazing. But what we want to offer with the interactive horse session, it's an experience again. It's not the fact to go on the horse, to get your horse, go on it and go for a ride. No, here we are looking for something that's more about interaction with the horse. It's going to be a session for about 1 hour, 2 hours, so it's not the whole day, but it's going to be something where an experience that we will put the traveler, the passenger, in front of the horse, in front of this animal that's 500-600 kilos that also has emotion, and to interact with him. The horse will act different depending on who is in front of him. You know, as you know, the animals has a different perception of people than us. They can catch things that we do not as human beings. So it's something also that travelers will learn about them. They can release their emotions. We had sometimes some session where actually people that had maybe were maybe shy, you know, or maybe anger, things like that, that totally change. Some people that sometimes finally cried in a good way, no, but cried because they release a lot of things in front of the horse. So this is something really specific, but really nice too, because after that, we will also organize like games between the traveler and the horse. Games, first of all, next to the horse, and also then games that you're on the horse. And it's going to be learning, for example, to call the horse, and the horse will come to you. That's something normally that the horses won't do. A dog, yes, not a horse. So it's something really, really special. And also the important thing is that this is something also that can be done by everyone. People that also do not have experience with horses will learn how to treat with a horse, how to handle a horse, and maybe also lose their fear about how to handle a horse. So this is something also we offer in this case in Papagayo, where we have plenty of spaces and we have the horses there. And the horses are, of course, already pre-trained. They are not wild horses. They are horses that are used to do these activities. And of course, you will be always with the teacher that will be checking that everything is going fine. Okay, so this is for the third experience. The fourth experience I wanted to show you today is about weaving. Okay, weaving is something that also part of Ecuador. Okay, in this case, we're really talking about community tourism. We are offering, in this case, to discover a weaver workshop that's located next to Otavalo, okay, 5 minutes from Otavalo. Otavalo is located on the north of Quito, okay? It's about 1 hour and a half, 2 hours driving from Quito. Otavalo is known actually as the biggest, or one of the biggest marketplace of Ecuador, and also from South America, actually. Actually, Otavaleños, as we call them, are now really known not only in Ecuador, South America, but also in the world, okay? They're exporting their products, okay, handicraft to different countries in the world. So it's something really, really interesting. But what we're gonna visit, because the demand now, the worldwide demand is always increasing. So if you want to answer the demands, you need to adapt your weaving techniques. But in this case, this community that's called Peguche Wazi, that's formed by Quichuas, native Quichuas, wants to keep, that chose to keep the traditional way to weave, okay? So this is what we want the client to discover, to see how is the tradition, how the people used to weave the goods, the clothes, carpets, things like that. And this is what we want to offer the client. So there is a different way to visit this place. You can only go and visit the workshop and maybe have a lunch with the community, because it's not only looking at the workshop, it's also sharing with them, sharing with the people. Okay, you can also offer to a client to try to practice. Okay, in this case, we need maybe half a day, maybe a complete day. It's also possible to offer a couple of days. I remember one person, she was only interested in doing this, and she went to this community and she stayed, I think, 5 days, 5 days with the community, sleeping there, eating there with them, everything with them. And she learned how to all the techniques, because in one day you cannot get to know all the techniques. You can just practice a little bit, but if you stay for more days, you will definitely learn the whole process. But anyway, even in a couple of hours, you can already feel the sense of this tradition, to keep it authentic. So that's something also that is interesting, and that we already had really good feedbacks about. So when you want to offer something different in the area of Otavalo, not only the market, that unfortunately the market is nice, but sometimes a couple of people say, it's now a bit more touristic, it's too touristic actually. So when we hear that, this is a good solution to offer something different, to say, okay, do not focus on the market. Let's go to this Peluche Wasi workshop. It's going to be something more special, okay? The fifth experience I wanted to talk about today would be about the dance and traditional folklore, okay? In South America, in other continents as well, but actually in South America, the dance is really important, okay? Here in Ecuador, in all the regions, all the cantons, or the cities, and even villages, they almost all of them have their own festivities. One day per year they celebrate, in honor of a virgin, of a god, or anything. So this is something really important for the Ecuadorian, for Ecuadorian culture. And of course, this honor is represented by a dance usually. So we call here comparsas, when people go on the street and different group of people are dancing, dressed in different ways and doing different dances. So that's something really important for people here in Ecuador. So of course, it's hard to get to know all the kind of dances, because there is a lot in all Ecuador. But we think it's something important for the travelers to know about also, because it's really, really part of the culture in Ecuador, the traditional dances. So we can offer something that's going to be a show, okay, that is performed in Quito, okay. Every Wednesdays and Fridays there is a show that would basically be representing the most common dances, okay, but different dances from different parts of Ecuador. So this is also something that's an interesting activity to maybe realize at the end of the trip, when people are about to take their flight on the next day, they fly back to their country. They can finish maybe the previous night, the last night in Quito, with this activity, okay, to end the trip in a nice way. So maybe have a nice dinner in Quito and then go to the show. This would give them really nice memories to finish the trip, okay? These performances are done especially in Quito, so this is where we will offer it, okay? Sixth experience would be about bird watching, okay? This is really important. Maybe you know, maybe not, that Ecuador is actually recognized as one of the best places for bird watching. It's in Ecuador, we have a little country again, but we have in the continent, so not including Galapagos, over 1,578 bird species recognized. This represents 15% of the world known species. So can you imagine that on such a little country, over more than 200 countries that exist on the world, we have here 15% of the known species that exist on Earth. So that's something really uh, impressive, really interesting to argue for your travelers. Definitely, Ecuador would be uh, maybe the place or one of the place to be for bird watchers. So if you have travelers interested in bird watching, so definitely Ecuador should be the place to be, the one you should offer. But also for people that are not that interested in bird watching, it can be a nice experience to offer, to say, okay, you will be to Ecuador. Instead of doing again the typical things, why don't you take a little trip, 1 day or two, to get into the nature, to be more in contact with the nature and especially the birds, because more and more people also are now living, in cities where there's almost no fauna, flora, almost no birds or no species, not a big variety of species. So why don't you offer your clients to go to Ecuador and to take, I would say, a big breeze and go and discover the world. Okay, like you go out of the city and you will discover what are the the treasures of the world, the natures. So that's something important. Also, it can be something interesting to offer not only for bird watcher but definitely to people that maybe just want to reconnect with nature and finally remember that the nature is really important, and that in places in the world we still have places where there's a lot of birds living in natural state. Okay, the best places for bird watching would be, of course, we have a lot of birds in all the country. We have in the Sierra, actually we have the condors, not that much, but we do have the condor. In the Amazon as well, we can see a lot of birds. But maybe one place we would recommend would be to go on the cloud forest. That's on the northwest of Quito, maybe 1 hour and a half, 2 hours drive, no more. And there is a reserve that is called the Bella Vista, where you will see really things really nice. So this is what we can offer regarding bird watching. Okay. And finally, the last experience that we can offer today would be about Cocoa Tours. Okay. Cocoa is also something really important in Ecuador. Actually, Ecuador is the seventh largest producer of cocoa in the world. So again, such a small country being only the seventh biggest producer of cocoa in the world, while cocoa is also produced in Africa, in all South America, and different part of the world. So it shows again how important is cocoa for us, and also if we are the seventh largest producer, it talks itself about the quality. Okay, about quality, actually we have one of the best cocoa in the world. Okay, from 2012 to 2015, the Ecuadorian the cocoa won the first prizes on different chocolate awards. Okay, and now since the last year we are maybe not on the first place, but always located in between the top 5 or top 10. So definitely cocoa is now something recognized in the world. Okay, and this is also something we should try to argue on, to focus on, to sell it to our clients. Okay, what we want to offer on the tour of the cocoa is not only to taste it. Okay, this is a 80% cocoa, this is 60%, or this is the chocolate with passion fruit, with ají, or with different plants. No, it's not only this. We want to show the clients all the process from the cultivation, from the seed, okay, that grows on the trees, and how we process it to then obtain the chocolate. Then, of course, here the cocoa is transformed in chocolate in different ways. As I mentioned, they do a lot of combinations of dark and not so dark chocolate first, but also trying to combine with local fruits like the passion fruit, with specific plants, with ají. Ají, that's something spicy, but it makes a really nice product. The mix between chocolate and ají. So this is something also that we think is really important to offer to your clients. Regarding the regions, we have chocolate in different regions, but the main regions where we can realize a trip and offer a trip to your clients would be in the area of Mindo. That's the same place Same area of the bird watching. Okay, so it's something nice to combine. We can combine a trip of 2 or 3 days in this area and to get to see birds and as well cocoa. Also in the area of Napo, that's basically entering the Amazon. Okay, and also in the south part of the country in the area of Guayas around Guayaquil. Okay, um, so this is about chocolate.